This is Stephen Winzenburg. I am thrilled today to have Her Royal Highness with us. Her Royal Highness of Housekeeping, that is. She's the Queen of Clean, and you've probably seen her book. It's in every store, it seems like. She has sold over 1 million copies. She's got 2 books now on the New York Times bestseller list, and she's Linda Cobb. Linda, thanks for being with us on WHO.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure to be with you.
You have solutions to just about every possible cleaning problem that there is, and it's the time of year when we start to look for those solutions.
It is. It's spring cleaning time to talk dirty to the Queen of Clean.
That's right, and we're going to open up the phone lines in just a little bit and take some of your cleaning question calls and give away copies of Linda's books, Talking Dirty with the Queen of Clean and the brand new Talking Dirty Laundry with the Queen of Clean. But Linda, share with our listeners your background, how you got to be the Queen.
Well, actually, I owned my own cleaning and disaster restoration company in Michigan for 15 years.
Disaster restoration company?
Yeah, that's like fires, smoke damages, furnace backups, fireplace fires, water damages, suicides, that kind of thing. And in those kind of situations, if you can't clean something, then the insurance company replaces it. So you do one of two things. You either clean it or you ruin it trying. And so I've tried just about everything, let me tell you. And I've learned what things work and what things don't. And from looking at my book, Steve, you know that I'm a huge proponent of natural products.
Yes.
Baking soda, white vinegar, lemon juice, club soda, those kind of things. Because when we clean our homes, we normally open about 7 containers of cleaning chemicals. And then we wonder, why do our kids have asthma and allergies where they didn't used to? So if you can do it the natural way, the inexpensive way, and the fun way, that's what I'm all about.
I appreciate it. Like in your new laundry book, you talked about some some of the allergy-free softeners, laundry detergents. You tell us where to look on the web, where to order some of these things, and that really helps for those of us that really are worried about that.
And these products, which are made by a company called Soapworks, the woman's son had asthma. So bad that every time she cleaned, he basically almost died. Wow. And when she finally put 2 and 2 together and figured out what was going on, she created these products. And the beauty of them is, as you know now, not only are they allergy-free, not only do they keep the children from having these problems, they also work great, too.
Mm-hmm. So how did you become the Queen, and how do you go from a disaster restoration business to all of a sudden becoming a 1 million-copy bestseller?
You know, it's really interesting. We moved to Arizona, and I sold my companies, and I had planned to do a newsletter because my best friend is the secret recipe detective, Gloria Pitzer.
Oh, sure.
And she had such remarkable success and such joy in doing that I thought, well, I'm going to do that. So that's basically what I was doing the newsletter and talk radio when my husband, God love the King, sent...
Your husband, the King.
Yes, the King, John the King, sent my things to KTVK television here in Arizona. Had I known, I would have had a heart attack, but he was smart enough to wait a week to tell me, and did so in front of people, so I couldn't kill him at that time. But I thought, oh my gosh, and then I thought, you know what, they'll never call as long as John's happy. Well, they did call, and what are you going to do? You either... just say, no, I'm not going to do it, or you just swallow whatever fear you have and go for it. And it was one of the most fun experiences I ever had, and that has just boomeranged from there. And with so many questions coming to me, I thought, now's the time to write a book. And I sat down and wrote the first book, and it was actually published locally here in Arizona and did 100,000 copies.
Wow.
Then Pocket Books, Simon & Schuster's Pocket Books bought it. And we've done about 1,700,000.
Oh my goodness!
On the first book, and I think around 700 or 800,000 on the second.
Is that even something you ever dreamed of?
Oh my heavens! I could have never dreamed this. Never in a million years.
You're sitting there at home doing laundry one day, and the next day you're the Queen of Clean.
Well, exactly. And I don't look good in a hat, so wearing a crown is always a challenge. What can I tell you?
Her name is Linda Cobb. She's written a couple of books. One is Talking Dirty with the Queen of Clean. The other is Talking Dirty Laundry with the Queen of Clean. You can get them virtually anywhere. I've seen them at grocery stores, bookstores, everywhere. Or she has a website. It's queenofclean.com, and it's got all sorts of information, including how you can subscribe to her newsletter at queenofclean.com. We're now going to open up our WHO radio phone lines, and we are going to take your calls with your questions for the Queen of Clean, and to the first 8 callers, we're going to give copies of Linda's books. Linda, why the Dirty Laundry book? Why a separate book for Dirty Laundry?
Well, the first book I concentrated primarily on just cleaning in the home. And laundry is such a challenge for most people that I decided to do just a whole book devoted to nothing but laundry. It covers how to keep your washing machine clean, your dryer, making your own fabric softener, using things you already have at home like vodka and shaved cream and things
Oh, yeah,
like
we
that.
all use vodka in the laundry,
Sure, when we're doing laundry, most of us would like to have a little vodka, you know.
What in the world do you use vodka for?
Well, you know, vodka's a wonderful cleaner for beaded clothes. If you have beaded things that you wear so seldom, and sometimes they're not even cleanable, and if they are, they're quite expensive. So if you'll just lightly mist the underarm and neck areas on the wrong side with vodka, undiluted vodka in a spray bottle, hang it to dry. It takes away any body odor, perfume smells, that kind of thing, and they're perfectly wearable the next time. And no, you don't smell like a martini, I guarantee you.
Now, did I read correctly? You actually recommend that we use WD-40 on some stains?
Yes. When you have oil and grease stains, you have to regenerate that oil or grease in order to get it out. So if you spray it with WD-40 and then work in undiluted liquid dishwashing soap, that will clean it out. And it's very important to work in the dishwashing soap because that's what actually removes the grease.
What does aspirin do to laundry? Aspirin?
Takes the headache out of underarm stains. Aspirin is really wonderful with underarm stains.
You put aspirin in the laundry?
You do. What you do is you take 1 cup of warm water and 8 to 10 aspirin tablets. And I recommend you use the really inexpensive, non-coated aspirin. Let it soak till the aspirin dissolves. Then you put it onto the underarm area and let that soak for about 30 minutes to an hour. And then launder as usual.
That is fascinating. Sharon is with us from Ankeny. Hi, Sharon.
Yes, hi.
What's your question for the Queen?
Well, I have I laminated or Formica type kitchen cupboards, and every time I try to clean them, they smear, they look smudgy, the fingerprints show, and I wondered if you had a magic potion to clean those.
You know, actually, they aren't as hard to clean as you might think. What you want to do is take about 1 gallon of warm water, and to that add about 1/4 cup of borax, 20 mule team borax. That's in the laundry additive aisle at the grocery store.
Okay.
And add 1/4 cup of Arm & Hammer washing soda, and then about a teaspoon of liquid dish soap. And you're going to wash them down really, really well with that, and then rinse and buff with a soft cloth.
Okay.
And if you have oily spots on there that you're having trouble getting off, use a little Avon Skin So Soft, the original version.
Really?
And that will just roll the grease right up.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Sharon, did we get your information there?
Yes, you did.
All right, great. Thanks for listening
you
to
very
News Radio 1040 WHO. Elizabeth is up next on Michelson in the Morning. Hi, Elizabeth.
Hi. What about burned popcorn inside a brand new microwave?
Oh, gosh. You know, that happens to so many people, so don't feel bad. A couple of things you can do. You can take some vanilla extract, and you need quite a bit of it. You need to buy, like, one of the bigger, cheaper bottles. And put about 1/2 cup or so into a bowl and bring it to a boil in the microwave. And let it boil for, maybe a minute, making sure it doesn't boil dry, or that's a whole new problem. And then shut it off and leave the door closed overnight. Many times that'll take care of it. There's also a product called Odors Out, ODORZOUT. It's good for any odor, including pet odors or burned popcorn odors in microwaves. Totally non-toxic powder. You would put it in a bowl, sit it in the microwave. You leave the door cracked so some air gets in, and it might take a day or so for that to work, but that would take it out. Now, Odors Out is available at places like PetSmart.
Now, Elizabeth, I have to hear the story, though, about the burned popcorn. Who did it in the brand new microwave?
Oh, now you really don't think I'm going to tell you on the radio.
That means you. Okay.
Now we know.
I hope that helps you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to News Radio 1040 WHO. Luann is next. Hi, Luann.
Hi.
What's your question for Linda Cobb?
I have some of the fake trees in my living room, and they're very dusty, and I've tried, vacuuming them and stuff, but they still leave that film-like, and I was wondering how to take care of that.
Generally, you can take them outside and actually wash them off with cold water. What you want to do to find out if that's possible is try putting some water in a spray bottle.
Okay.
And just spraying it onto one of the leaves to be sure that it doesn't disintegrate or, do some terrible thing. But I have had great luck doing that. What I normally do is take a spray bottle, and I put I fill it up like a quart spray bottle with water, and then I put maybe a 1/2 teaspoon of liquid dish soap and some Arm & Hammer washing soda in it. Arm & Hammer washing soda basically makes water wetter, is what I like to say.
Oh,
then take it outside, as long as you've had no damage from the test. Spray it on, let it sit for a minute, and then take the hose just on mist and hose it down and let it dry outside, and then take it in.
Okay.
And if it's in a straw pot or some kind of pot,
Yeah, it is.
make sure that the pot's not wet on the bottom when you sit it back onto carpet. We don't want you to have a carpet stain there.
Okay.
Okay?
Great.
Thanks,
That
Diane.
should clean them up really well.
The Queen of Clean is with us. She's called the Goddess of Grease Stains, the Babe of Borax, Her Royal Highness of Housekeeping, and she is a bestseller to boot. Linda Cobb is here, and she's got a website, queenofclean.com. Linda, I saw your books everywhere. I mean, I saw them piled up at Barnes & Noble and saw them at the grocery store, and they're just selling them all over the place.
Oh, they really are. They are everywhere, and we feel really blessed by that. I'll tell you, and we've had so much fun traveling across the country. We're actually going to London and to Ireland on national book tour. And on Thursday of this week, I'm going to be doing an interview with Japanese television.
Wonderful.
So,
And today you're in USA Today.
Yes, I understand it's quite an article. I haven't seen it yet.
Well, we're just really thrilled to have you with us. We don't get royalty on our show too often. So let's get back to the phone lines. And Mary is up next on WHO. Hi, Mary.
Yes, hi. Hi, Linda.
Hi.
I have a wool area rug that our puppy urinated on.
Oh,
and
gosh.
we didn't find it right away until it was completely dry. And I tried cool water and mild soap. I tried Quick and Bright, and I tried vinegar. And I just got like a brown, light brown spot.
Yeah, actually, in using the products like that, you actually cause more browning than was even originally there.
Oh, really?
You don't want to put things like Quick and Bright or any soaps onto carpet. That's like washing your clothes and not rinsing them. So you have to be careful with that. What I would advise you, if it's an area rug, is to take it and have it professionally cleaned at this point.
Okay.
They have some products they can use on it that will take that browning out. And you want to make sure that the urine is out and the odor is out, too. Otherwise, as the weather warms up there, you're going to notice the smell.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if that happens again, the best thing you can use on it is club soda. And you want to just blot with that.
Did you say club soda?
Yeah, club soda.
Yes,
Yeah.
club soda is the oops, I can't believe I spilled that spotter. And you can use it on anything without harm. The carbonation bubbles up the stain or the urine or whatever you're working on.
Oh.
So you can blot it out, and the salts keep it from staining.
All right, thanks, Mary, for calling WHO Radio. Linda, why do you have cat litter in your refrigerator?
Cat litter actually is a great deodorizer.
As long as it's clean cat litter.
Yeah, that's right. As long as it's clean. Please don't scoop it out of the litter box and use it. But it's a great deodorizer. If you have a refrigerator or a freezer that you keep in the garage or the basement or whatever, make sure you keep it in there all the time. And a small dish and an oleo dish is great to use. And keep the lid on it and then punch some holes in the lid. That way, if it tips over, you don't have cat litter all over the
So you
fridge.
keep things in unusual places, like also in one of your books I read that you put a little piece of white bread in your dresser drawer.
Yes, actually, if you have dressers or chest of drawers or trunks that have kind of a stale, moldy, mildewy smell, you take a piece of white bread, and yes, it has to be white bread, believe it or not, and put it in a bowl, and then you pour undiluted white vinegar over it, put it in the drawer, close the drawer, leave it for about 24 hours, and the smell will be gone.
But won't it smell like vinegar?
No, it really doesn't. Vinegar dissipates. The smell goes away immediately. And vinegar is such a natural ingredient. Of course, it's non-toxic, and it's nature's acid cleaner, basically.
Wonderful. Kathy, you're up next with Linda Cobb, the Queen of Clean. Hi, Kathy.
Hi. I just have a question. My son spilled some Diet Red Pop on the carpeting.
Diet Red Pop on the
Yep,
carpet.
And then he took Resolve and tried to get it up, and
Oh,
now
gosh.
it's kind of pinkish.
Ooh.
Yeah, if you don't use the right thing right away, that's the problem. Again, I recommend to you that you keep the club soda on hand because you can pour that on and pretty much bubble all that up. At this point, there is a product that will work for you, and don't be fooled by the name, okay? It's called Wine Away Red Wine Stain Remover.
Okay.
But it works on Kool-Aid, red pop, orange pop, red food coloring, grape juice, cranberry juice, all of those things.
Great. And will it matter that it's already been treated with Resolve?
I hope not. Resolve, unfortunately, is not one of my very favorite products.
Ah.
And what I would do at this point is flush the area with the club soda, blot it really well, putting down a heavy cloth and standing on it to blot it, and then let that dry and then treat it with the Wine Away.
Okay.
Okay?
Great. Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Kathy.
Kathy.
Tammy is up next on WHO. Hi, Tammy.
Hi.
What's your question?
Well, I was just wondering. I'm glad the weather's warming up. However,
Yes.
we're gearing up for the battle of the flies again. We live in the country,
Mm.
and maybe I'm not up the right alley here. I don't know. Maybe I need an exterminator for this.
Maybe that's a new sidelight that the Queen of Clean could do.
But anyways, it seems like I'm always just kind of on the defensive, and I was wondering if there's anything that I can do that would be, on the offensive to take care of them.
You're talking regular black flies?
Mm-hmm.
That's one thing, believe it or not, we don't have many of in Arizona. But we have the battle of the gnats that come in through the screens. They're everywhere. One of the things that deters them from the countertops and things is wiping them down with undiluted white vinegar. The smell goes away, but the bugs don't like it.
Okay.
And if you go outside and they're getting on the kids and things, if you put undiluted vinegar on their skin with a cotton ball, the smell again goes away.
You just gave me a great idea. Just how about fill up one of those hose spreaders and just spray it all over the outside
Spray it everywhere,
of the house.
spray it everywhere. But the thing is the bugs don't like the way you taste. They don't like that sour taste. So perhaps that will help you some.
Okay.
But, flies are horrible. Coming from Michigan, I know only too well what you're talking about. And there's that one period of time where there seems to be millions of them.
Yeah. Thanks, Tammy, for calling WHO Radio. And we have another Linda on the line calling the Queen of Clean, Linda Cobb. Hi, Linda.
Hi.
Hi.
I had a similar question to one of the other ladies that called in, but mine is our cat is getting old, and sometimes she will throw up after she eats, and it leaves a stain on the carpet.
Sure.
If we don't get it up right away, and I just wondered if there's something that you use for that to work.
Well, there's a couple of things, and this is great if the spaghetti doesn't agree with the dog or the cat has a hairball or whatever. We have to thank our pet food manufacturers who always put food coloring in the food. I don't know what they're thinking, But what you want to do is, as soon as you see it, as long as there's any moisture there, put baking soda on it. Cover it heavily with baking soda.
Okay.
The baking soda will absorb the moisture and the acid in the food coloring.
Okay.
Wait until it's dry, and then vacuum it up using the suction from the attachment hose.
Okay.
To get it really well. You want to really vacuum that up.
Okay.
Then you can use Spot Shot carpet stain remover. It's a wonderful cleaner, absolutely wonderful. If that doesn't take it out and you still have a little stain, use 1/2 cup of hydrogen peroxide. Now, this is the kind you just buy in the drugstore, 3% hydrogen peroxide.
Okay.
And add to that 1 teaspoon of ammonia. That's what gives it the little kick.
Okay.
Okay?
Great.
Okay.
Thanks for that advice. Stephen Winzenburg, News Radio 1040 WHO. Linda Cobb is the Queen of Clean, and her 2 books have sold over 2 million copies. They're both on the New York Times bestseller list. Talking Dirty with the Queen of Clean and Talking Dirty Laundry with the Queen of Clean. And Linda, I can tell you love to talk to callers.
Oh, I do. It's one of my favorite things is interaction with people and hearing their problems, and sometimes they offer me some great solutions.
That's
too.
great. And also, it's just kind of a challenge, too, isn't it?
It is. It really is. It makes the day fun. That's
wonderful.
For sure.
Let's get to Marilyn up next on WHO. Hi, Marilyn.
Yes.
Good morning.
I drive a school bus, and I get diesel stuff on my jackets now and then. What's the best?
Diesel fuel on the jacket.
Are they washable jackets?
Yeah.
Okay, as long as they're washable, since it's an oily stain, diesel fuel and diesel is you want to put either the WD-40 on it and then work in the liquid dishwashing soap, or you can use a product called Go Joe Cream Waterless Hand Cleaner. And it's that goopy stuff men use on their hands to clean the grease off. Women do too, actually. And just work it in really, really well between your hands and then launder as usual.
Oh, okay.
And a great spotter for any kind of spotting like that, too, is Zout. Z-O-U-T, Zout Stain Remover. It's in the laundry aisle where products like, Shout and those kind of things are. But Zout is just an incredibly good product.
Great. Thanks
and
for
if
calling,
you have
Marilyn.
if she has a problem with the smell, the odor Zout will take that out, too.
I'm just having a tough time getting used to WD-40 being sprayed on clothing, and you telling me that's going to take a stain out. I would think it'd be putting a stain on.
Actually, it does put a grease stain on, but the problem is you have to regenerate grease to remove it. So since grease removes grease, that's what you do. And then you use the liquid dish soap to take it out.
I think I learned something today. Grease removes grease.
Absolutely.
Annis is up next with the Queen of Clean. Hi, Annis.
Hi. I have a problem with a coffee stain on a gray carpet.
What have you done to it so far?
Well, unfortunately, the kids used commercial cleaner before I got to it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. At this point, what you probably want to do is try the hydrogen peroxide formula, which is 1/2 cup hydrogen peroxide with 1 teaspoon of ammonia. Now, if it's black coffee that didn't have any cream in it,
no,
it was black.
Right.
Okay. Then the Wine Away red wine stain remover will also work on that. That works on coffee, tea, and Coke products too, as long as you don't have any cream in your coffee or your tea.
Okay.
Thanks for listening to
Thank
WHO Radio, Annis. David is with us. Hi, David. David, you there?
Okay, yeah. What's the best way to clean marble?
To clean what?
Marble?
Marble? Oh, an Act Natural cloth is wonderful for marble. Those are microfiber cloths.
Okay.
And all you use on that is water.
Okay. Oh, okay. And another thing is this Zap that they advertise on TV.
Yes.
Is that good stuff?
It's an awfully strong product. I'm not going to say that it doesn't work on some things. It certainly doesn't work on everything. My thought is if it's too good to be true, it usually is. There are some uses where there is nothing else you can use. I think if you can use gentler, healthier things, it's better. It's not a very healthy product.
Thanks for calling, David. Yeah, Linda, isn't one of the problems that we want to have a product that does it all? We think there's one solution for everything.
Yes, and, that is the big problem. And, television is so compelling because they show us these things on TV. And there's very few products that actually will do every single thing. It's funny, I was on QVC a while back and sat and talked with a gentleman who at the time I did not know what company he recommended. And without knowing that, he asked me what I thought of his product, and I told him. And then he told me that he invented it. But even he said that, well, you got to try it on baby formula stains because it works really well on that.
Right, so it may work on some specific things.
Exactly.
Right.
And that was his reply. It was not that it does everything. It's that try it on this, you'll like it.
And let's get to Michelle. Hi, Michelle. Thanks for being with us.
Hey, thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome.
I have 3 males in my house, ranging from 45 to 3.
And they're all sloppy.
And none of them can aim worth a darn.
I know.
Now, the 3-year-olds, I'm hovering over going, aim, hit the water, hit the water.
Yes.
But it just, I've used everything, and I've even taken the toilet seat apart and used a toothbrush and put it back together.
Oh.
Yeah, it was the grossest thing. What do you suggest?
To clean it or to deodorize it?
To clean it.
To clean it?
To deodorize it more than anything, because, I don't know.
Well, the deodorizing, I think, is a main problem because, unfortunately, not belittling men, God just did not give them the correct ability to aim for the.
Hey, now listen, women got their own problems too here.
They do. There's no doubt about it, and I'm with you there 100%. But it just, there seems to be a problem there.
I'm in a house with all women. Okay.
Okay.
Women got their own problems.
They do. And
Let me tell you that, Queen.
And if you leave the seat up,
they kill you. It's not the back of the wall behind the toilet.
The odors out that I've been talking about, ODORZOUT, because it's dry and non-toxic, it doesn't make a mess, it doesn't eat down into the crevices in the floor or anything, and you can sprinkle it around the toilet and let it absorb that smell. The other thing that will help you is if you put down some of those little rugs that fit around the toilet.
Oh, yeah, I did that.
I know you have to keep changing them because that becomes a problem, too. But when you wash those, put in about a cup of white vinegar.
Oh, okay.
And that will help deodorize those and just keep changing them and recycling them.
So is there anything special in the cleaning of the toilet
in
that will
the
help?
cleaning, 20-multine borax and heated white vinegar is a great cleaner. You spray the heated white vinegar on, let it sit for about 15 minutes, and then work in the 20-multine borax as if it was like a cleanser.
Oh.
And not only does borax clean, but it also has deodorizing properties.
Oh, wonderful.
So it works really well. My other suggestion is as the males in your household become of age, and, of course, your husband now, let them take over some of the responsibility for cleaning in the bathroom.
That's the deal right there.
Yeah,
they don't have to do the cleaning.
Well, it's amazing how that can improve eyesight and aim when they have to clean it themselves.
I say everybody should sit to go to the bathroom.
You know what? I agree with you 100%.
Michelle, you're a little too revolutionary for this show. Please. Okay.
I just don't know how guys deal with those things. Do you?
All right. Thanks a lot for calling. Helen is with us now, the Queen of Clean. Hi, Helen.
Hello. Yes.
Hi, Helen.
Hello, Linda. I was calling to see about what you would recommend for cleaning hardwood floors. I have one in the kitchen, and I was told just to use water on it, but is there a certain kind of a mop that you recommend? I thought in your book you did.
Yeah, there's a couple things you can do, actually, Helen. Tea makes a wonderful cleaner for wood floors. You take about a quart or so of water and bring it to a boil, and add a couple of tea bags, and let it come to room temperature. Enjoy a cup of tea while you're waiting if you want to. Then you wring out either a cloth or a mop in the tea and wash the floor with that. It needs to be just damp. The other alternative is to use one of the microfiber mops, which are absolutely amazing. That's all I use on my ceramic tile. You use it with nothing but water, and it cleans it so beautifully, and it leaves no watermarks and no film. Or check in the back of my book, and it will tell you where you can buy those kinds of things.
Thanks for calling, Helen. We should mention, Linda, I do remember reading in your first book that to clean the toilet, you use Tang.
Yes, Tang in the toilet is great for a general cleaner. For heavier cleaning that Michelle was experiencing, I would definitely say the vinegar and the 20 Mule Team.
So for light cleaning, Tang.
Yeah,
right?
Tang is great. Well, Tang is a good all-around cleaner for each time you clean if you keep it up. A couple of teaspoons of Tang in the toilet, and if the dog drinks out of the toilet, what's the worst thing that can happen? He has orange lips. And Steve, denture cleaning tablets are great for toilets, too.
Really?
A denture clinning tablet or two dropped in cleans the porcelain just beautifully.
Well, I'll make sure to use mine for that purpose, then.
Well, even if you don't need them for your teeth, they're great cleaning products.
Linda Cobb is the queen of clean. She's on the bestseller list. I kind of call her the diva of dirt. How about that, Linda?
I like that.
You're a diva now.
I've been called a lot of things. The Empress of Elbow Grease, the Babe of Borax, you name it.
Going to try to get a few more calls in here real quickly, so let's get to Larry. Hi, Larry. Thanks for holding.
Hi. I had a couple questions. First of all, I guess I was wondering if you have clothes that go ahead and end up taking on a stain from other clothes from the dye. How can one reverse that?
Okay. Well, with that, it kind of depends on the type of fabric in the clothes. There's a couple of products that work on that. It's called Color Run, is what we call it, and there's a Color Run remover made by Carbona. You can buy that at places like Walmart and Kmart and Target, and some grocery stores carry it. But make sure you read the directions carefully because it will not work on some fabrics. There's also one that quilters use, and you buy that at places where quilting supplies are sold. And that's called Synthropol, Synthropol, Synthropol.
Great. Thanks, Larry. We have to move on to other callers, though. Bart, we're going to try to get you in here real quick. Hi, Bart.
Thank you.
What's your question?
I have a solution possibly for the flies in the city and the country.
Great.
So I thought I'd mention those to you real quick. Number one, last year I used fabric softener around my sliding screen door. Just a sheet of fabric softener. It works tremendously. Keeps those flies away. Didn't have a problem at all.
Was it a perfumed?
Well, this one was.
Okay.
And it was. This one.
Gotcha.
And then secondly, out in the country, what a party might do is go to a farm supply store and get a fly trap, whereby you would use a mayo jar, a mayonnaise jar with it's got a screw-on lid, and those flies go inside there, and you catch those.
Great. Thanks, Bart, for sharing that. Let's get to Kate. I'm trying to get as many calls as possible. Kate, you have a question real quick?
Yes, I do. How do you get metal marks off of a porcelain sink, like from cookies?
Metal marks off a porcelain sink, was that, Kate?
Yeah, that's right.
There's a product called Zud, Z-U-D. It's a cleanser. Look for it in hardware stores and home centers and some grocery stores. Bright yellow can.
Zud.
Don't use it every single day to clean the sink, but it's great for removing those metal marks.
Thank you.
Great. And Linda, how has success changed your life? You've written a couple of million sellers now. You do TV shows. I know I've seen you on some national TV shows. How has this changed your life?
Well, it's actually made me busier where I don't have as much time, of course, for my family, which, thank God, my children are grown.
I thought you were going to say you didn't have enough time to clean anymore.
No, well, I don't have enough time to clean either, but the ways that it has enriched my life are incredible. Just meeting and talking to people like you and your listeners, getting a chance to appear on these different programs and see different parts of the country. And we're going to England for a book tour, so...
Now, tell us the truth. Do you hire someone to clean your place now?
Yes.
Aha, I knew it.
Do.
See, you're too famous now.
And I used to do it all myself, but now I just 7 days a week we work, so...
Well, you're the queen. You deserve that,
I
right?
am, and you know what? They do a darn good job, but I gave them copies of my book
I
when
bet
they
you
came
did.
in. So.
Well, it's Talking Dirty with the Queen of Clean and Talking Dirty Laundry with the Queen of Clean. Linda's website is queenofclean.com.
Oh, it was great.
On WHO.